Hi, I'm Dr. Robert D. McDonald. My wife, the Reverend Dr. Luzette McDonald, and I, we founded the Telos Healing Center with offices in California and also in Louisiana and also in Holland in Europe. And I've been teaching the destination method, which is something I created many years ago, worldwide for many, many years. I want to talk to you today about codependence. Codependence is a popular term. Many people have heard it. It has to do with a certain form of addiction. A lot of people think that addiction to substances, such as alcohol, certain forms of medications and illegal drugs and so on, is the only way in which an addiction occurs. But it's not true. A person can be addicted to another person. Codependence is a word that describes someone who is dependent upon someone who is also dependent upon a substance. So years ago, it used to be called co-alcoholism, but now it's expanded from that to codependence. Codependence is actually a confusion of identities. It's at the level of identities in which one person, the codependent person, has had a difficulty with their own boundaries. They don't know where they end and another person begins. Consequently, without having clear boundaries, they get lost in the other person's feelings and emotions. This is related to something I've spoken about before, if you've been watching these videos. I've spoken about the 7 levels of awareness. The first 3 levels are my own point of view, another person's point of view, an observer point of view. That'd be the first 3 levels of awareness, which we go through naturally as we evolve, is I have my own point of view. Then when I'm old enough and wise enough, I can take another person's point of view. And then if I'm old enough and wise enough, I can take a third or observer point of view. These 3 points of view are the foundations of health, but also there can be serious problems there. If, for example, if I'm caught in my own point of view, I can become a blamer. Virginia Satir talked about dysfunctional communication styles, and one of them is to blame. If I only have my own point of view, then I can become a blamer, like a dictator. If I then move healthily to the next person's point of view, to another, the other point of view, then I can do that healthily, which is learn empathy and compassion, or go into a pitfall, which would lead me to codependence or to be a placater. Just as Virginia Satir said, there's blamer and placater, and there's also super rational. The third point of view, the observer point of view, if I'm stuck there, I can become super rational. So the issues about development happen whenever we're stuck, whenever I'm unable to progress or to evolve to the next level. So if I'm stuck in my own point of view, I can become narcissistic and blame other people for my experience. If I'm stuck in another person's point of view, I can become a placater, codependent, lose my identity. If I'm stuck in a third point of view, I can be stuck in this way of being an observer all the time and not having any emotional experience itself, be like a super rational person, too much in the observer, mechanical. So health in the destination method is defined as easy access to the first 3 points of view, self, other, and observer. If I can easily move through them, I'm not stuck. Well, codependence is being stuck at second perceptual position, or the looking through the eyes of another person. When that happens, I actually have a confusion of my identity with another person's identity. I become so empathic, so concerned about the other person's feelings that I forfeit my own. This is a serious problem. When I forfeit my own feelings in service of another person's feelings, I actually do something that's contrary to the development. The development goes from being strong to belonging. I want to belong. That's the positive intention of codependence, is to freely belong. But codependence defeats its own positive intent. Every time I do something against myself in service of another person, I destroy the foundation of my own ability to perceive, because I must be myself before I can take on the point of view of another. I must be myself. I must be authentic before I can take the point of view of another and have the humility that I'm not the only one who exists. So healthy second perceptual position is I realize that I'm not the only one that exists. I have humility, and I can develop compassion. I can develop empathy and understanding from another person's point of view. But if I can't get out of that other person's point of view, then I'm stuck. And that stuckness is the essence of codependence. What we need to do is resolve that stuckness. And in the destination method, I created many years ago a particular process for that called the releasing emotional enmeshment process. This is a profoundly powerful tool for resolving codependence. Also, it's necessary to resolve the inherent conflict that goes on within people who are codependent, which is on the one hand, they want to be passive, on the other hand, they want to be aggressive. And that particular conflict has to be integrated and transcended. So if you're struggling with or know in some way yourself or another person who's involved with codependence, you can understand. What's needed is to come home to the body, to no longer take only the point of view of another person, but to have your own strength, your own authenticity, to tell the truth and release yourself from enmeshment with another. So in conclusion, I want you to know that if you're codependent, it's important to realize you can't get sick enough to make another person well. It's very important to understand this. You know, there's an old joke about codependence that when a codependent dies, somebody else's life passes before their eyes. We need to come home to the body. The solution is come home to your own body and tell the truth, noticing that other people must solve their own issues in and for themselves in their own spiritual awakening. And this is something that you must yourself find out for yourself. So I'm glad we've had a chance to talk. Talk to you soon.